Great. Okay, so welcome to your wind down this Thursday evening. And just like I said, you might need a few little cushions and bed pillows and maybe a strap or something that resembles a strap. But there's always an option if you haven't got these things that I can give. But yeah, some cushions and bed pillows would be good. And then we're just going to start lying back in Baddha Konasana. So I'm going to encourage a pillow or two either side of your mat so you can have a nice supported version of Baddha Konasana. And like I said, keep socks on if you want to feel a bit more cozier. Yeah, just get cozy in these sessions. So come to lie back whenever you're ready and take the knees up to point to the sky and then send the legs wide, soles of the feet together. And that little support on the outer thighs should just really allow a little bit of kind of softness to your Baddha Konasana, a little bit of extra support so it's not as intense. And then take a moment, make sure you've got any strap nearby so it's in reaching distance so you haven't got to move around. And then we're just going to take a few moments to arrive and settle. So maybe a nice big breath in through the nose and a sigh out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more of those. Deep, rich breath in. And then let it out. Good, 1 more. And just let it go. Great. And the more audible those are, I find they're a little bit more releasing. So don't, hold back on those exhales. So if you need a couple more, remember, it's your practice, it's your time. So I want you to do things that feel right for you. And once you've kind of had those nice long exhales, hopefully you're feeling a little bit more at ease. And you can either take the arms nice and wide, having the palms facing up, or you might even catch the arms above you, fingertips, wrists, forearms or elbows, or maybe the arms are just nicely in a soft bend above you at the elbow. Whatever, again, feels right for your body in this moment. I'm not sure what you guys have been up to today. If you know you've been sat at your desk or driving a lot, maybe this arms above might feel a little bit more right for you. And then once you've made those final movements, let's come to stillness. Allow it to wash over the body. And almost picture a little laser beam going down over you from the tip of the head to the base of the feet. And as it passes over, can you soften and just ease down that part of the body even more? So the skin around the forehead, the shoulders, the pelvis, the thighs, and the feet and the toes. You're exactly where you need to be. The next 30 minutes or so are just about being with your body and connecting a little bit deeply to your breath. And although we're moving slowly, sometimes these practices are a little bit trickier for the mind. So they might require a different type of energy, a different type of focus and concentration. So let's just check in with how we are this evening. Let's begin that internal dialogue that exists. And only you know your own voice. Only you know your own thoughts. So I want you to just ask yourself, how am I feeling? As you lie here in stillness and just notice whatever comes up for you. And as always, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. what surfaces is exactly what you need to listen to. It's exactly what you need to hear. And then know you have this time that you've carved out to process, to delve a little deeper, to really get to know yourself. So to keep listening for a whole chunk of time. When we're busy and we have long to-do lists and schedules, sometimes these voices or these thoughts or inner dialogue pops up and says something. And we have to be like, no, 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 not right now. I'm sure we've all been in that situation where something's happened or it's a trigger or whatever it is. And you're not in the right space or you're not in the right environment to deal with that. This is your environment. This is the right space where those things have time. They have our attention. We can work through them. So be really proud of yourself that you're taking this time to practice, to process, and to get to know yourself. If you haven't already, start to cultivate really long, smooth breaths. And although we want to send them nice and deep, and we want to be taking these breaths really consciously, we don't want too much effort. So we're not grasping for this breath. We're just encouraging it to be smoother. We're encouraging it to be longer. Breathing in. Breathing out. On your next inhale, let's start to guide the knees in towards one another. So just release the hands down beside you, take them to the outer thighs and just bring the knees back together. And that should feel pretty nice. And we're going to just draw the knees in a little bit and just take a gentle rock from side to side. So from here, we're going to keep hold of our right leg. We're going to drop our left foot to the floor. And this is where you can use the strap if you want. We're going to extend the leg up and away and take hold of whatever's available. If you've got a strap, you can use that. If you haven't, you can just keep a softness to the knee and you can hold the knee or the back of the thigh. Well, we're going over to the left. So this left heel is going to kick away to give us that space. And we're going to guide that right leg over to the left. And you can go as far as feels comfortable. You might scooch the left hip over and under a little bit to encourage a little bit more space for the leg to go. If you want, you can create a pile of pillows to rest the leg on. Depends how far you're going to take that leg. So it's all kind of very personal, these shapes we're making. I'm just going to give you lots of options. So it might be that your leg comes all the way down and you're pretty close to the floor, so a couple of pillows are going to feel great for it. I encourage you to keep hold of the strap if you have got one, just to create that little bit of tension. And you want to really reach your right arm out and away so that it just encourages your right shoulder to stay down. And it will be your left arm and hand that will hold onto the strap eventually if you get the leg over enough. So you can stay here. If you want a little bit more, you can bend the left knee and you can even take hold of the foot and take a second stretch through the front of the left leg. And that might encourage you to keep that shoulder down. If that foot feels really far away, don't worry about it. Okay, we're going to do this sequence next week as well, so that might be something you work towards. Or You can have a second strap if you'd really like, but that gets a bit complicated. Or you could switch grips. If this extended leg is a little bit closer, you could use your strap for your other foot. But again, that second thing, just an option. Right, we're going to hold for another 30 seconds or so. I've been talking for long enough, so just take 5 more deep, rich breaths for me. If you have got a hold of both feet, really encourage the chest to stay grounded. Right shoulder drawing down towards the earth. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. Great. On your next inhale, with or without the strap, depending on how you've moved into this, slowly bring the leg back to center. Release that other leg as well if you took that option. And you might need to scoot yourself back to center, and you're going to bring both knees in and just give yourself a little hug. Great. So from there, with the same approach, we're going to loop the strap around your left foot. You extend the left heel away, slide the right leg along the mat and start to guide your left leg over and across. Maybe the right hip scoots under a little bit for you to find that space. It's almost like the hips are stacking. Great. And then you're either reaching that left arm out, or maybe you're going for that extra grab of the second foot. It's quite intense. And guys, by all means, you don't have to have the legs extended. You can just soften the knee, and therefore you don't need the strap. You can just use the back of the hand. And we're stretching like the outer left hip here. So you might know something called your IT band. Runs along your outer hip and your outer thigh. So that's getting a nice good stretch here. Good. That's the breath. And how good are you at finding stillness? The only movement really we should be feeling once we've settled into our shape is the breath. And that's where we can really start to notice the depth of our breath. So that's the only movement we're aiming to feel here. Let's go for 5 more from now. Three more. Hopefully in these sequences, your breath is able to be drawn out just that little bit longer. Really tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system, this kind of rest and digest vibe of the body. So great for reducing stress, anxiety, all that stuff that ramps us up. Right, last breath. Let's slowly ease ourselves out. So again, using the strap to bring that leg back to center. Taking a little moment to shuffle back in and just give yourselves a little hug of the knees, maybe a little roll around. Great, and then from here, we're going to drop both feet to the floor and we're going to come into a figure 4 shape. So let's go back to the right side and give the knee a little squeeze in and then really rotate from the hip. So there's nothing in the knee, there's this movement out to the side. So if you had a clock face around you, you'd be trying to bring your knee to about 2 o'clock if there was a clock face on the ceiling, 1, 2 o'clock. And then you're kind of directing the ankle and heel onto the left leg. And we call it figure four because then it just looks like a number four. Now, if this isn't doing much for you, you can lift your left foot off the floor and you can really give that leg a hug in. If it's far away and you're having to kind of strain and come up, you can use your strap again to kind of bring that knee in towards you. Again, a little bit again into the outer hip and thigh, and nothing in the knee. It should be a nice deep flexion of the knee to protect that joint. And you can even flex your right foot as well to further protect the stability of the joint. So just notice how that feels. Come to find a little bit of stillness. We're not here for as long. So maybe opportunity to go a little bit deeper now for 5 more breaths. Just a minute in this one. Great, last breath. Maybe give it a final squeeze and then release out. And it's up to you what you do with your legs when you release out. You might want to bring them a little wider and just do some swishes from side to side of the knees. You might want to just kind of move the legs a little bit in any way that feels good. And then we'll go straight to the other side. So you know what to do now. So the blade edge, the ankle bone of the right foot, the left foot is going to rest on the right thigh. Maybe you're staying here, teasing it out, or maybe you're lifting it up and drawing it in. Try and keep the shoulders grounded. And eyes are closed or gaze is soft. That really aids focus and concentration. It allows you to stay in. As soon as we open our eyes, there's a bit of stimulus around. So that's why I'd also encourage you, if you don't like to have your eyes closed, you can just dim all the lights and do this in a little bit more of a candlelight vibe. And that will really encourage you to not get distracted by things around you. Encourage a sense of peace and calm, which again will feed into that nice long breath we're aiming for. Last 3 breaths here. Opportunity to maybe just go a little bit deeper. Great. And you're ready. Release. And again, whatever you need to do, take that now. And then we're going to rock along the spine a few times. And we're going to come up to a comfortable seat. Take your time to come up, there's no rush. Enjoy a nice massage of the spine. The other thing you might want to do with your practice in these, if you've got 2 mats, you might want to just make it extra cushiony. So I don't know if you have 2 mats, but if you do, double the mats up for your wind down. Always a nice little treat. So we're coming to sit, and you can kind of cushion your sit bones if you want, especially if you know your hips are a little bit tight. That will encourage a little bit more of a dropping, so you're just lifting up the sit bones. And it's also just nice as we do these more comforting practices. So we're coming into something called shoelace, and you can either come into it with both legs or one leg, but either way we're going to do both sides, but just one leg sits on top. So if we sort out the bottom leg to begin with, it's almost like you're bringing your heel. So let's start with the right heel. You're bringing your right heel towards your left outer hip, and that's leg 1. Leg 2, it's the same, but you're bringing your left heel to your right outer hip. Now, if that's like crazy and your knees are super duper high and it doesn't feel good, extend that bottom leg and just do the top leg. And you can support it as much as you need to if you feel that it's super intense. So this is called shoelace, and the idea is, I think, that it looks like a crisscrossy shoelace. So each heel is coming to the outer opposite hip. And then this might be exactly where you stay. The heels can be close, further away. You can kind of play around with that. You'll know what feels right for you. And all we're going to do is we're going to stay nice and upright. If for some reason I've got very open hips, you can't feel too much in this, just walking the hands forward will switch everything on. So I need to walk my hands forward to really feel this. So that's the extra kind of option that you might want to take after another few seconds as we go into like the last 30 seconds. But wherever you are, focus on the breath, focus on stillness. And if you are kind of coming forward and you want to feel a little bit more softer, you can again just use your props to enable you to feel like you're reclining in a nice restorative way or supported way. Lots of choices. Okay, 30 more seconds. So if you want to, maybe you tease yourself forward a little bit. Last 10 seconds, so maybe just go a little bit deeper. Well done, guys. So before you come out, just think about how we're going to just start to lift up. Maybe you walked your hands forward, let's walk them back. And then I'd encourage everyone to just lean back and just extend the legs nice and slowly. And then maybe come to a nice little swish. Okay. So hopefully you remember which one was on top. We did our left leg on top, so now the right leg is going to be on top. So to start off with, we'll bring our left heel to our right hip, and we'll bring our right heel to our left hip. And you might notice a difference between sides. You might need to adjust your sit bones. Again, the heels aren't necessarily super close to the hips, but they're kind of aiming towards that direction. You can play around with that. But you want to almost get the knees stacked, or that's what we're working towards, knees stacked. And let's go again. So again, another minute and a half here. If you want, you can kind of recline forward, but I will give you a 30-second warning if you want to take that final extra walk forward, just for the last 30 seconds. Focus on the breath, close down the eyes, and just find some stillness. So coming up to the last 30 seconds, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can. Walking the hands forward, allowing yourself to ease down. And 3 more breaths. Really good, well done. Slowly come back, walk the hands in, Take your time. Roll the shoulders, lean back, and just start to extend the legs. Great, well done. So some little swishes, some little movements that feel good. Great. And then we're coming into a wide-legged position. So if you want, you can stay with that cushion underneath you. You can also, I was going to encourage you to have a wall space by your practice area, because sometimes that's pretty nice to lean against. So you've got two options for this final posture. You can sit upright with the legs wide. You can come forward and support your torso by coming forward. Yeah, this is option one. If you have a wall by you, you can take this with the legs up the wall, which is really nice. If this is super tight, maybe use the cushions to just bring a little bit of softness under the knees. We want to feel this on the inner thighs. That's where we're looking for. So if leaning forward, all of a sudden you're working in the back, don't go there. Stay upright and just see how you get on. So heels nice and wide. The reclined version is you're sitting by your wall and you're kicking your legs up and you're taking them wide. So this is the kind of wall reclined version. And they can go as wide as feels comfortable. And you're just allowing a little bit of gravity to help you out there. So we're going to stay for 3 minutes in total. So we've probably got another 2.5 as I've been rabbiting on for about 30 seconds. So close the eyes and just find your shape, either reclining at the wall or easing down. Yogi's choice, but just enjoy the stillness, focus on your breath, and I'll give you a minute warning. So if you want to go a little bit deeper or tease the heels a little bit wider for your last minute, you can. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Final minute. So opportunity to go a little bit deeper, whether that's teasing the heels a little wider against the wall or easing the torso down a little further. Just take 3 more conscious breaths. Really trying to extend, lengthen, and exploring that edge just a little bit more on your final exhales. Well done, guys. So before you just come out, let's think about how you're moving out of this, whether that's easing your hands in closer or that's using your hands to bring the legs in against the wall, just nice and gently. But either way, soften the knees. And if you're at the wall, come back to meet us in a seated position, just swivel around. And we'll just take a little swish of the legs from side to side. And then come to where we began the practice, that comfortable seat. And just give yourself a nice big shoulder roll. And sit tall, eyes are closed. And just take a little moment, maybe the chin just lowers down to the chest. And let's just all bring to mind one thing we've been grateful for today. I find it's always a really nice habit to get into at the end of your day before you close your eyes and get to bed and sleep, to just remember or think of one thing that you were grateful for today. Whether it's an interaction with a stranger, a piece of good news, a nice cup of tea, whatever it is. Find that one thing and just bring it to the forefront of your mind now. Thank you all for joining me. Go easy now for the rest of the evening. Ease yourself into your bedtime routine, get some nice warm food if you're still having your dinner, and I will see you soon. Have a lovely evening. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylee. Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Vicky. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Vicky. Thank you.
No worries.